This would just take just a couple
Sure,
of seconds.
of course. Yeah, we're going to go to another level of questioning, but please proceed.
If I could just show, this is a model of the brain that shows the amount of absorption into the brain of an adult. It only goes about 2 inches into the brain. This is a model of the same part of the brain near the ear of a 5-year-old child. This goes pretty far into the brain, and I think that's something that the FCC should consider to talk about the amount of absorption into the brains of children as opposed to adults.
Could staff bring that model up here for a minute?
Can we get pictures of that? Is there any way to
Yeah.
I saw some pictures.
Would staff bring the model up here? I just want to take a look at it. The gentlelady's time has expired on this round. We're going to come back. We're going to take another round here.
Can I make an inquiry? Let me just make an inquiry. I don't know whether it's possible, but is there any way with our copying devices to make copies of that so we can take those with us?
Don't drop it.
Actually, within my written testimony, we have a photograph showing the same thing.
I just want to, just for the record here, this model, Dr. Huberman, is, an adult brain model. Is that what you're saying?
That's correct.
And then where does on this model, where's the cell phone?
The thing sticking out on the side is the cardboard thing is
The cell phone is right here.
right there.
Okay, so the cell phone is here, and what you're saying is that, and this actually, so we're trying to keep this close to the model. The cell phone is here, and you're saying that the directed energy from that cell phone goes in like this and then expands outward into the tissue of the brain.
Yeah, and this
Now,
shows.
so in just turning it in another view, that's what an adult brain. What's your basis for that? Are there studies that prove this? Is that what you're saying?
This was done with models in which radio frequency signals that are in the same range as the commonly used cell phones were used for this.
Now, this would be a model of a child's brain at what age?
5 years old.
5-year-old child. Do you have research that shows, or public health research, Dr. Carpenter, that 5-year-old children will use a cell phone? Is that possible?
I've had inquiries from parents of 2-year-old children who give them their child the cell phone to play with. I don't think most 5-year-olds are making phone calls, but when kids get in elementary school, then they begin.
So, okay, now here we've seen the effect. Here's the adult brain effect of use of the cell phone, and then we look at the child again. So the cell phone is here. Is that right?
Correct.
Cell phone's here, and it's a very deep penetration, you're saying. Now, is this kind of penetration of the energy of a cell phone, the radio frequencies, radiation, we're saying, would you say that from looking at this visually, is it your testimony that most of the brain of a child would receive some of this energy?
That's correct. Most of the brain, at least on that side of the head, would be absorbing that energy. And it's a simple explanation for it. One is that the skull is considerably thinner in a child, and it doesn't reach maturity until the 20s. In addition to that, the nerves in the brain in an adult are protected by a myelin sheath. In children, the myelin has not fully developed, so there's several reasons for the increased absorption in a child.
Well, I want to talk a little bit more about children here. You're saying that children are more vulnerable. Just no question about it. I mean, you presented models here which demonstrate that. You say there's research that back that up. And this is a model of a 5-year-old. Now, are children 10 years old vulnerable?
This was actually done as part of the same modeling experiment, and as you might guess, the model of the brain of a 10-year-old is somewhere in between that of a 5-year-old and an adult.
Children, are they 15 years old? We're talking teenagers here. Are the young teenagers, do they have a vulnerability? Is it your testimony they have a vulnerability?
I believe they still are more vulnerable than adults.
You believe or you know,
because
Doctor?
of the myelin.
Doctor, you believe or you know? What do you...
This has not been directly studied, but I think from other biologic information, I know that there is not as much myelin protection to a teenager as there is for an adult.
One of the things that occurs to me, and my colleagues I think would probably support this, it is customary in our society to look at various products or substances and say that children should not be permitted to have access to them or to use them. For example, states have passed laws that restrict children from being able to purchase cigarettes. States have laws that restrict children from being able to purchase alcohol. We even have national standards that restrict children's access to being able to watch certain types of movies. Should there be, and I'd like to have a response from the doctors who are here, is it your judgment that as a precautionary measure there should be national standards of either warning or precaution of relating to the use of cell phones for children, ages of any age? Dr. Carpenter.